Nice and decent people. This is me one more time. And I just want to report to you a situation that happened right here on my friend's farm, where he planted some watermelons here. And just when the thing was ready to be harvested, somebody came and stole around about 1,000 pounds of watermelons from this place here. 1,000 pounds. And I say that I want to talk on against the backcloth or against the backdrop of crime, because invariably people make it look like it is the government that is responsible for crime in the country. And I believe that we are misleading ourselves to want to blame governments for crime. The government has a responsibility also. Me, all of us, you, the whole community, the whole citizenry has a responsibility to play in terms of crime. Now, somebody stole 1,000 pounds of watermelon here. How then is the government to be blamed for that? The way I look at it, the first defense is the house. In the case here, the first person to be blamed for this crime, it is him, his parents, his family, and then we go other places. Okay? Because the way I look at it is this. I could not be caught stealing a man's watermelon because I have an obligation and a responsibility to myself. I have an obligation and responsibility to my friends, my family. Because how will it look for my family to know that I came to somebody's farm and stole their thing? Or my friends to know that I stole somebody's stuff? You understand? So the first thing is, it cannot be that a minister of government or the prime minister is responsible for all crime in the place. And that is my point. And I will stick to that. What is in this person's mind to think that it is okay for a man to plant his watermelon? Because I come here sometimes. Sometimes I help the guy here. There were various crops that were planted and there was great difficulty in actually getting a decent crop there. You understand? But when he tried the watermelons did very well here. Very well. And it is okay to just come to somebody's farm. After, you have to pay for the manure. You have to pay to plant it. He had to pay, to run his irrigation lines and all of that. He has to pump the water from the river, put fuel in the pump and all of those things. You have to pay workers. And at the end of the day, your responsibility and your job is to come here and steal 1,000 pounds of watermelon that is not yours. Where are his parents? Where are his parents to have taught him better? And the thing is, where is the church? Because when I was growing up, every weekend you would have to go to a church. On a Sunday, you would have had to go to the Catholic Church, Pentecostal, or wherever. On the Saturday, you would have gone to the Adventist or Church of God. So when we go to these places, we would have heard, thou shalt not steal, do this, do that. So these things would be instilled in you in some form or fashion. So when you get a temptation to steal somebody's watermelon, there would be a tug of war. Steal, not to steal, whatever. But now, a lot of people do not go to the house of God. They do not go to church. So there is no tug of war. Whatever thing they want to buy, they consider they need their money and they'll just come and steal your stuff. There's no tug of war because people are now not going to churches, so they do not get a balance in their minds between good and bad. So the parents themselves are not allowing their children to go to church on the weekends or whenever, and they themselves do not go. So there is a breakdown in morality in the country. You understand? There is a breakdown because people are not subjecting themselves to religious education. Okay? And we have a situation there sometimes. It is possible that those people who stole that are not even people who plant anything. You understand? One time I was by the market many years ago and I was just watching some young guys selling some vegetable. And I just look at these guys. No, they were selling yams. And I look at these guys and I say, you know what? These guys definitely are not farmers. I look at them and I know these guys were not farmers. That they were selling something that was stolen. I am saying that these things are not supposed to happen in the country. It is happening too often. Okay? And the other main point I want to draw here is this. You and I cannot be blaming government people for crime in the country. You're not blaming parents, you ain't blaming nothing, but all the government has a responsibility too. But it cannot be that everything has to be on the government for crime. It was the government there when he came and steal the person's watermelon. And the thing is, you may believe that sometimes it is poor people or people that can't. You will be surprised sometimes. The people that steal those things, sometimes their parents are well off, you know. Their parents are able to help them. I had a shop one time, and a guy, I had my cameras, I had some cameras in the shop. So I had some short cutlasses. These cutlasses were such that somebody could have put them in their pants and go and do whatever they had to do. So two young fellas came, and they looked like they kind of blocked the sight of the person that was working there, so you can't see what they were doing, and they stole my cutlass. So a young girl came and told me somebody stole the cutlass. The two guys that were there, they stole a cutlass. So when I look in the video, I realized it was done for true. So I called the family. I knew a friend of mine who was from that area, and I called her and I told her, there's a certain guy named whatever who stole my cutlass, and tell his mother or his family that if he does not come and pay me, this evening he will be on DBS News. Hey, in around 20 minutes or less, the family came. They came with their van and they paid my thing. Sometimes the people who do those things are not poor people. Sometimes these are people who, you know, they eat well, but yet they are very immoral. They are indisciplined. Some of them are not raised properly. Some of them have no moral scruples. They do not care about nothing, about nobody. They just demonstrating, you know, just gross negligence to the work of others. So I just want to say that we need to be more thoughtful, and you need to talk to your people, talk to your family, talk to your children concerning these activities. And above that, we need to bear in mind that crime prevention is that of an entire country. You cannot blame no man, no government, no prime minister for crime entirely. Keep the fire burning.